in business, all aspects. So yeah, a lot of things. My favourite tool probably right now is Midjourney for AI images.
Okay, cool.
I've never used Notion.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm missing out on something, right?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'd have to give it a go.
Okay. All right, we'll start with you. So we're just going down the list right here. Name, where you're from. So introductions.
Saad, from Kuwait.
All right.
I came to this event, this Capital Factory. There was an event yesterday night.
Okay.
That's the only one.
All right.
I wouldn't consider myself a solopreneur. I have a job. I've put that on hold.
Okay.
And I've been trying to get start small businesses
Sure.
in different places. Here and
Okay.
there. So that's, I'm just here to start.
Absolutely. Welcome. All right. Start right there.
My name is Alex. I am from Honduras. I was living in Miami before, just moved to Austin like 6 months ago. This is my first time here.
Wait, you were from Miami?
I am from Honduras,
Okay.
but I was living in Miami, and I just moved to Austin like,
And you're not at Art Basel right now?
no.
Oh my God.
No. I've been several times, so
Yeah, okay.
it's not fun anymore.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's just like,
It's like going to the grocery store.
whatever. Okay. If you have been here, what is business? And
So something to share. Any?
I've been an entrepreneur since 20 years.
Okay.
Since 18, so I've been a solopreneur 20 years.
Yep.
So I'm 38.
All right. What was your first business?
I did like a nightclub photo shoot that I took photos.
Okay.
Like a private Facebook album.
Oh, wow.
That's how I see it now. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I controlled the private nightlife of
Right.
my university. But the folder, the photo folder, was my
Yeah.
photo folder. So I just saw publicity and,
Yep.
and ads and all of that, right? So I've been coding since I was 10.
Okay.
Straight up out of high school, I created like this app, and I just started being an entrepreneur. I was studying computer science, and I dropped at the 3rd month and started doing my business. I've been a junior consultant too, in trademark and patent law
Okay.
firms. Just
Wow.
helping them a lot of stuff. I never worked a traditional job ever.
And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. That's why this place exists.
And my favorite tool right now is Eraser.
Okay.
Eraser.io. I like building the diagrams and database
Yep.
with AI, and it's very easy for me then
Okay.
put it to chat and do it.
Yeah. There are so many tools now that have changed everybody's lives. I think we can all agree with that, you know. All right, thanks. Yeah. Riley?
I'm Riley. I'm from here in Austin, been here 12 years, so I'll say from here. I've been here to 4 or 5 of the events.
All right.
All of them fantastic. What's something that you've learned? I think I'm not thinking big enough. Like,
Okay,
a lot of
yeah.
times you show me stuff and I'm just like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to ask that. Like,
Yes.
I'll ask, like you said earlier when we were talking, like you start asking simple questions and we think linearly and we build
Right.
up to it. And I see you just like ask, like, build me an entire website right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Small things like that, and I'm like,
Yep.
nah, I'm not thinking big enough.
Yeah. And I think we did a class on AI building websites already. Yeah.
Exactly. And part of not thinking big enough is even just searching for a tool that can do something.
Right.
I think tiny step at a time, and I don't even think to ask in a search, is there a tool that already does this, an AI tool?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Step 1 through 5,
Actually, just to let you know, there was an article that came out over 100 AI tools that do image generation now. And they all have very specific things for image generation. So one is like background removers. That's all it does,
Yeah.
right? And others that do like image enhancing, and then others that do like object removals, and others ones that like add objects for specific things with certain lighting and
Yeah.
and that's just imaging. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because I tried to use like Midjourney to make logos, and it's absolute rubbish, and I'm sure there's
Yes.
for that.
And I think everybody here probably has an experience with that as well. So
I am not a solopreneur yet. I was programmer for a long time. As an entrepreneur, I started a business that's like in between the Texas DMV and corporate clients like Tesla to issue license plates. So
Okay.
it had nothing to do with tech, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
We use some tech behind the scenes.
Yep.
But to just make our processes faster. But this will be my first
Cool.
foray into solo.
Okay, cool. Any favorite tools?
Man, ChatGPT is still.
I know, yeah, that's the one. All right, hopefully tonight I change everybody on that. Everybody's like kind of in love with ChatGPT. All right, next.
Hello, my name is Sedai. I'm from Turkey. I moved to States like 5 years ago.
Okay.
So, first time here, just wanted to check it out. I just showed on one of my friends told me there's a place called Capital Factory. They do this like.
This is your first time?
This is my first.
Wow,
time.
welcome.
I just came here like just observe, you know.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't do like anything. I'm like great starter, but I'm not like keeping up. I
Sure,
do a lot
sure.
of Stuff, but I
Okay.
just stick with it. I tried dropshipping. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried like all kinds of stuff. But
I think now we're at a point where like every 15-year-old starts dropshipping because they see the YouTube videos and the millionaires and all that stuff, and they're just like, I'm gonna do that, right? And then they're like, shit, this is hard, you know. And then they make wedding photos.
so
What's your favorite tool?
I really like YouTube actually, the music
Really?
generation app. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
It is fun.
Very cool. All right. Thanks. All right.
I'm Phil. I'm from originally from Orlando, Florida, and been here in Austin since '97. This is the first time at this event. I'm a once and future solopreneur. Right now, I work for a company that helps with great tools for solopreneurs. So
Okay.
I'm here to sort of learn what everybody needs and how to market to you guys.
All right.
My very first solopreneur outing, though, was to age myself. I was migrating people from their AOL pages to their very first HTML websites.
Whoa. Look at
I did
that.
that in 1995.
Wow.
And my favorite tool to use, since I can't use Netscape anymore, is Notion.
Actually, you can just build a sandbox and use Netscape. You're fine. So, all right. Well, thank you. Yeah. Steven?
Hi, I'm Steven. I moved here from New York. I've come out to this half dozen times or so.
Yeah.
I've met a bunch of people, and Chris has connected me with a lot of different communities around the area. And he always keeps me posted about work.
Yes.
Which has always been very helpful. We've generated some business from it.
We did Austin Tech Week.
Tech Week, Small
Yep.
Business Expo.
That's right.
What is something you'd like to share with others that you're doing? So I'm a stand-up comedian, and I put on a show that the yoga therapist, where we do breathwork, yoga, and meditation through my new hour of stand-up that will be selling to your Netflix or Hulu in a little bit.
There it is, right there.
Oh, thank you so much. This Friday. But I've been coming to these things to really build a business around the show that I'm putting on, right? So really treating the show as a product itself, and then focusing on ticket sales, brand partnerships, and corporate wellness events and stuff like that. So the question was what I've learned, just kind of how to utilize different like AI and automation tools to do some of those business processes. Favorite tool, ChatGPT, obviously, but I just found one that you may not know about. It's called salesbot.io. Do you know?
I do know that one.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody that's doing sales stuff, super helpful. It basically aggregates all of your sales processes from lead generation to drip campaigns. So I've been looking for this tool for a while, and I finally found it, salesbot.io. I've been talking about it so often that I asked them to give me a referral link, so you try to utilize it, but basically you just type in all your parameters, right? Like I'm looking at a lot of like HR executives in Austin, company size X, Y, and Z, like all the things that you would find on LinkedIn Navigator.
Yep.
And then it scrapes all of the emails and then you just say send an email to all of them, and it'll put the drip campaign together for you. So I'm sending out 200 emails a day with like 30-minute work, 30 minutes of work.
Wow. Look at that. Saving lives.
Saving lives, saving time.
That's right, too. Yeah.
Lives,
So, yeah. All right, well, that helps you understand who's in the room, right? Like now you have an idea of like, hey, who do I want to talk to later on? Who do I want to connect with? And that's why I put on this event as well, right? So now you have that idea. So after this, hopefully y'all connect and something happens. So these are upcoming events. And so tomorrow night is going to be marketing automation and AI. So there's always an interesting speaker for that one that comes out. They're usually in some area that they've built a tool or they are part of a marketing firm of some sort. But yeah, you should definitely check it out tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And it will be down in the first floor in Devi. So, and then tomorrow, well, actually the Thursday, will be the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Winter Party. So if you haven't been a part of that, or if you've never been part of a Chamber of Commerce, it's basically a collection of all these business leaders who run businesses in Austin, right? And if you're trying to figure out like, hey, who's doing what deals are happening, where is the growth happening, these are the rooms to be in, right? So with that said as well, on Friday, the Asian Chamber of Commerce is also having their winter party as well. And if you go, then you also get a free 1-year membership for attending that event, as you know. So that's an incentive. And another incentive is they have really good food. Really good food. So in fact, tonight is also Indian Chamber of Commerce event, and that is way on the north side. And they too have amazing food. Yes?
Do you have to be a member of these Chamber of Commerce to attend these events?
So how it works is they allow anybody to show up. If you are a non-member, then for the Hispanic one, I believe it's $30 to attend. And the one on Friday, it is $5 to attend. So yes, you know. But again, it's a great way to build your network. It's a great way to find out like who's doing what. And that's how you get your foot in the door with a lot of these business leaders, right? So if you want to know all this stuff, join these Chamber of Commerce, and I guarantee you your business will change, right? As a solopreneur, you're trying to get to this level and do those kind of deals. So the other one that's also coming up is Smart Cities Connect Conference, which has already started. So that runs for 3 days. Defense Tech is also on there, but most of the time, most people that I talk about with this, if you're not in DoD, then that doesn't really apply to you. But that too is also going on. But smart cities are people who go in and they're trying to redesign cities, right? They want to make them more walkable, more accessible for bicycles, start to get rid of cars, things like that. So if you've ever seen Waymo around here, they're trying to incorporate more of like driverless vehicles. So that's the idea for that. So the other big one that I do want to mention, that if you are trying to do business on a much higher level, next week, Wednesday, all day, is the Bexar County Business Conference. It is free. If you get your ticket now, you get breakfast and lunch, and you show up, and this is for the city, the local, state, and federal level. There are businesses all around Texas that come in just for this for 1 day, okay? So for those who went to the Small Business Expo, this is even bigger, okay? This is huge. Thousands of people show up for this one. And they're all there to do deals right there in the room. This is not a, hey, let's talk about it, I like this. They're trying to get contracts done right then and there that day. So if you want to work at that level, please go to this. So search it, look it up. It is a free ticket. And all you have to do is just fill out the boxes that are required. There is a long list that people always tell me, like, hey, this is too much to fill out. There's only like 4 boxes you actually have to fill out. So you don't need to tell them all your children's names. So, all right, and then the next one after that will be the AITX Ugly Sweater Edition. So if you've never been to the AITX meetups, those are really cool. They're a lot of fun, and everybody in the room is doing something with AI. So usually that one is on the 5th floor at Capital Factory. But again, just look it up, and you'll see it. Great room to network in. The last event they did was at Meta. So they had a huge party, and then right after that, they had a hackathon. So are we good? We got our schedules full? All right, perfect. And I will let you know, once all this is done, after that, it goes dead in Austin, right? So after that, everybody's in holiday mode. They want their turkey again. They want their holidays. They want their Christmas shopping, all that stuff, and their Home Alone marathon. All right, so news you should know. So this one right here was very interesting. Australia became the first country to proactively take a stance on blocking social media for users under 16. There was a lot of response to that, just because Florida did one for those under 13, and so this brought in a lot of questions on, hey, what is going to happen? What's taking place? So for those who pay attention to social media in terms of like how it runs as a business, many are calling this like, hey, if this is for a kid who's trying to grow their YouTube following, how are they supposed to do that, right? So if it is the case that this starts to populate around the world and becomes more interesting, then yeah, it's going to get harder for you to build that audience, right? So Amazon and SpaceX went after the labor board to challenge their authority. And so basically they're saying that, hey, look, you're not giving us the right to do what we want to do, so we're going to challenge your authority to tell us what to do. And that was basically their argument in court. So we'll see what happens from there. Who here saw that study on LinkedIn about remote workers now have more time for side gigs? See? Yeah. Do you remember what it said? It said that people who have remote jobs have more time for side gigs than people who have 9-to-5s, right? Because they're not sitting in traffic all day, right? So that's what they kind of figured. And then this was very interesting. Elon Musk just fired himself from Doge. So that happened this past week. And his reason for that was he was on social media too much. So, yeah. And he said, look, if I'm on social media too much and I'm going to do that, I would not allow anybody else to do that. So therefore, I'm fired. So, yeah. So much for him trying to change things. And then they found out Tesla vehicles have the highest rate of fatalities compared to every other car maker. At the same time, he went and asked for less regulations for self-driving cars. So, yeah. All right, who here has used ChatGPT search? All right, what makes it so different?
Lack of ads.
Exactly. So when that happened, all these SEO agencies, all these places that run Google ads and digital ads and everything like that, they were like, what do we do now, right? Because if you've noticed in ChatGPT and OpenAI, the big ad companies already have gone in and been like, hey, we have to be here, right? As consumers, what do we not want to see? Ads, right? So it's this huge tug of war. And so now it's the case of just like, if an ad shows up, can't you just tell AI to get rid of it? Right? So now it's this weird game that's happening where SEO and Google Ads is just getting killed. Because if I can go in and program an AI to make sure never to show ads, how do you show an ad now? So who here saw the whole edition on 60 Minutes where robots are now building sculptures? Who here thinks you would buy a sculpture made by a robot? Right. Who here thinks humans should still be sculpting? Oh, man. I don't know about that. So, yeah, that was a very interesting one. Basically, it shows this guy, he comes in, programs a robot, and it basically takes this huge block of granite and just sculpts the whole thing real fast, right? What would normally take like 2-3 years would now take probably a weekend or a day, right? So it's the same design, same look, and the argument to the artist is, hey, I put my soul into the programming. What's the difference? Okay? Whereas they interviewed a whole bunch of Italian artists, and they said, oh no, he doesn't have blisters on his fingers. It's not real. So, all right, and then another one that they just did was AI companies are literally going to Africa and building these entire workforce areas and offering work to basically train AI, right? So who here has heard of the companies that go in and they create synthetic data, right? That's a huge market now, right? Yeah. So the problem with synthetic data is what? It's not real, So you're training something on something that's not real. So yeah, and that's the idea, So in synthetic data is just like, hey, look, if I was to extrapolate data that shows car fatalities in, let's say, Florida, and these are the rates based on cars and everything like that. The data is basically worked as an algorithm, right? It's not actually pulled from anything, it's just simulated, you know? So if you're training simulated data to an AI model, is it still worth it? You know? So that's where the debate is right now. There's all these companies building synthetic data, and they're trying to feed AI because AI has sort of already consumed the internet, right? So where does it get more data? So why did they have that relationship with Reddit, right? Like OpenAI and Reddit had that relationship. Was it like $44 million deal that they worked out? So that way they can go and train all their data on people that complain about their jobs all day. So, right? So, all right. So who here saw the Perplexity College Challenge? Or who here knows about that one? So Perplexity went in and said, hey, look, for every university out there that gets at least 500 students signed up, we will give you Perplexity for free, pro version for 1 year. And so they released the list, and who do you think made the top list?
UT?
No. They were 14, I think.
Stanford?
Stanford made the list. They were in the top 5. Come on, MIT. I mean, MIT's out there, right? You know, I mean, they got over 1,000 users to sign up. So all the students at the university get a free membership to Perplexity. So if you are a member of one of the universities and you're an alumni, you can go in there and get a free 1 year, subscription to Perplexity. So you can look it up and then see if you qualify. And if you are a student at one of the universities that did win, you get a membership as well. So, and the sad thing is a lot of students have no idea they won. So, all right. And then, of course, I just talked about his event for Eventbrite on Friday. So yes, so hopefully you go out, have some fun, get some laughs. All right, so let's get into this. The future of AI and robots, right? So this is happening. Who here has seen the movie Ron's Gone Wrong? I guarantee nobody's gonna raise their hand. Yeah, see. All right, so Ron's Gone Wrong was a Disney movie that came out like 4 or 5 years ago. And basically it showed every kid had an AI companion, right? Now remember, this movie is 4 years old, okay? And every kid has an AI companion, and that little companion follows them everywhere. And it does whatever they need to do. If they need to live stream, if they need to take a photo, if they need to post it to Instagram, whatever, it's always there, right? It's their companion, okay? But what makes it a Disney movie? Well, one little boy has a broken AI companion, okay? And that's why it's a Disney movie. So the reason why I bring this up was because I was actually at Sam's Club the other day, and there was a robot washer in the building washing the floors, right? Now to us, we think like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? Well, it was actually one of those washing machines that used to have a human employee on it washing the floors, right? But that little boy was just so fascinated by that. So why do I bring this up? Because that's where things are headed, right? That was a job. And that little boy kept following that machine around in the store because it was just so fascinated, you know? But who here has seen robotic, lawnmowers, right? You've passed by neighborhoods, there's a little robot going in the front yard, cutting the grass. Who here has seen the robots that already do like the back-end kitchen stuff for restaurants, right? So it's coming, People think AI is the threat. It's not. That is not the threat. So who here has already started to use Replit? Only one? Man. All right, let me give you an idea of what Replit does. Replit basically says, hey, look, I will build whatever you want done, right? I can give it screenshots of something that I want turned into an app. There's the app. It's right there. It's built. It's done, okay? I don't need software developers. I don't need to communicate with anybody. I can go back. I can talk to Perplexity. Hey, look, this code had an error. I need you to go back in, look at the repositories from GitHub, make the checks, do all the stuff, come back. Let's work on it further, right? So Replit is basically where things are headed for SaaS and apps, right? I've already worked with a number of people with Replit in building their entire MVP in 1 day, right? So what does that mean in terms of building product now? You're not wasting 6 months. You're not, I need to interview for a team. I need to go find a developer. I need to go do this. Now you can sit down, finish the episode of Friends, and have your app done by the time you've done dinner. And now you're off doing something else, right? What normally would have taken a year or two to build it out and get tested and work out the bugs, now you do it in the time it takes you to make a sandwich, right? But yes, Replit is a game changer, and that is not the one that you should be worried about. So, these are the ones that are the game changers. And if you've been in my class before and you've been through doing this stuff for the year, you've seen what Marbleism can do, right? Marbleism will change your world, right? Bolt, Cursor, all those things. Who's used Cursor already? Because I know I hear Cursor brought up so many times. You're the same person that keeps raising your hand. Man, we need to get the numbers up, people. So Cursor basically is like your AI companion for coding, right? Like you can code and do your stuff, do all your things, but you can talk to it, you can have a conversation, be like, hey, look, I'm trying to build out this whole platform right here, what's going wrong, right? And if you have trouble and you don't know how to code, that's fine, that's what it's there for. Go grab something that works, give it to Cursor and say, I'm trying to do this, tell me what to do, right? And then it does it. It builds it, right? And if you still don't know what to do, guess what? That's what Replit is for. So now you go talk to Replit and be like, hey, look, I did this, I'm running into this, I don't like this, what do I do, right? So Marbleism comes in and says, hey, guess what? You want to build an entire SaaS product? I can do that, right? And it's all based off of a prompt. And who here has already tried Marbleism for those who have been to my class already? No? Okay. So I will tell you, for the people that I've already worked with, I've had 2 people who took what I taught in Marbleism, and they built out an idea that they had been playing with for 2 years, right? And they sat down in one weekend and built out the entire SaaS product, okay? And what I mean, you know what a SaaS product is, so I don't need to go into details about that. So normally a SaaS product takes how long to build? Exactly. Marbleism comes in and does it in 30 minutes, max, right? So it gives you the back end, it gives you the front end, it gives you all the stuff that you normally would take a team to build, it does it for you, right? Just through prompts. And what's amazing about it is after it's built, you can go in and say, look, I want you to change the color, I need you to move the box here, I need you to put the buttons here, do this, make them bigger, do all that. It's doing it as you're talking, right? So this is where everything is changing. Now the problem with all this stuff is, everybody in this room, you are still the first users of this technology. How many others in society know this stuff, right? Unless you keep up with this, you have no idea this exists, right? So who here would have a better idea of how to use Marbleism or Replit or Cursor? I mean, this is for the people that think in terms of money.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this out for sure.
Okay. So couldn't you just make an agency and wrap it over one of these products already?
I would love, because we do like dashboards, like we do, as a consulting firm, we do a lot of research and analytics, and like doing a lot of content and stuff like that, so like for us, a lot of the analysis, and
Right.
presenting it in a dashboard kind of way.
So then basically what you would do is you would take like screenshots of dashboards you like, right? And then you'd be like, hey, look, I'm gonna put this into Replit. I'm trying to build this type of dashboard design for this product, right? And then once you have that conversation, it knows how to rearrange everything to make it fit that design. See what I mean? So now instead of taking hours or months or like, I need to go back to school to learn how to do this, guess what? Again, you can finish the episode of Friends, do your stuff, and still go out on a date, right? Did you have a question? No? Okay. So any questions about this? Or are we moving too fast? So how you use AI is way more important than what it can actually do, right? That's the reality of AI. And I have met a lot of people who have made a lot of money using AI, and they are not coders. They are not coders at all. So the skill to learn now is how to get AI agents to work with each other, and that's where the money is. So it's the creative individuals who will actually make the most money with AI than actual software engineers. Why is that? What else?
Software engineers are rarely creative.
All right.
They're not dreamers, they're executors.
They're executors. Right. Creativity and imagination, all that stuff is hard to learn. right? Like I can go be an engineer, I can go do all that stuff. I went to engineering school, right? It's a very linear thinking process. If I want to create a futuristic world, I have to be very creative, right? Like who are some of the biggest people in the world that are the richest? What did they spend their time reading when they were kids? Sci-fi novels, right? They loved sci-fi novels, right? Surprisingly enough, or maybe not, Elon Musk, Bezos, all the top people, they spent their entire time reading all of the sci-fi novels that were the greatest. Isaac Asimov, you had the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all the stuff they consumed like it was just nothing. So why is it that they have such a futuristic thinking on what they build, right? If when you're 7 years old and all you're thinking about is like flying cars and homes that have regenerating gardens and all this stuff, and yeah, that's how you think, right? So where was, and I'm going to challenge you here, where was the first design for a tablet? Yeah, where do we see the first design for a tablet?
Apple had it.
Oh, wait, say that again? Wow, he got it. Look at that. So if you remember, Star Trek was the first one to have these people walking around with these little things in their hands, and people would watch that show and be like, what the hell are they looking at? Why are they tapping on that screen, right? And now today we take it for granted. How many kids do you see in a store now not paying attention to what their parents are doing in the grocery store, but they're on their tablet, right? Where did that come from? It came from a creative person in Hollywood building props, right? So here's a recap of the top 50 AI web tools for the year that I showed back in the summer. If you can tell me all of these that you use, I will be very surprised. I can guarantee you, you've used no more than 4 of these.
More than 4.
You've used more than 4? Which ones?
ChatGPT, Gemini, Poll, Perplexity, Claude, Little Labs.
All right.
Learning,
Dude, everybody needs to be his best friend. Look at this.
Runaway, I have it here. Use it all the time. Replicate is my name for generation. Yeah,
Good.
CR, everything.
You must be rich.
That's right. And just that, like 18 maybe. 18 maybe.
Okay, all right, man, look at you. You got an agency right there.
I'm building
An empire.
a solopreneur tool.
There you, oh, that's right. See, there he is. Yeah, he's got your tools. See, so, all right. So, what did Runway ML just do 3 years ago?
Yeah, video.
Okay, yes, they do video, but what else do they want to make sure they also become known for?
For being a AI video studio.
Okay, you're close. You're very close. Like, what makes somebody use your product? Like, if I want to build something and I need to generate users, what do I need to do to get them to use my product? You need to market. How would you market that? No, they make AI videos. Start a film festival. Okay, so they were the first ones to start an AI film festival. And when they did that, they had 300 submissions for their first year. How many do you think they had for their second year? Nobody wants to guess? Is it too scary? It was 3,000. All right? We're in the 3rd year now for this company. And they just launched an actual AI filmmakers fund for $5 million. And you can apply and get money to go build and make a movie with AI, right? So the 3rd year, they're expecting at least 30,000 submissions. So their partnership is with Tribeca Film Festival. So for those who are from New York, that's a big deal, right? And if you want to go see some of the movies that have already been made, go watch what people have done. They're pretty amazing. And remember, this is just the 3rd year. So, all right, so that's pretty good. I think you're the leader in all this stuff. So we're going to have to do a workshop sometime, you know. All right, are we ready for the next part? Do you think there's more? Oh, yes, there's more. So these are the top AI mobile apps that people use, okay? So as a recap for all this stuff from the year, remember I talked about this back in, I think, July or June. So again, this has had time to change, right? And if you know who A16Z is, Anderson Horowitz, one of the top VC firms out there, this is the work that they do, right? Like they're in very much the trenches of what AI is all about, right? So, all right, let's go back to you. How many of you here are on your phone? He's like, it doesn't have enough space.
I don't use the apps. I just plug the APIs.
Okay.
Yeah, directly. I like to build my custom flows because I think it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to build a product per se. So right now I'm just using the APIs directly in my own custom flows.
Okay, all right. Do any of these also look familiar? So if I go back, yeah, okay. So I'm going to go back to, where is it? Yeah, it's not right there. Okay. So one of the apps that had gotten a lot of attention that I talked about was ChatGPT Riz. And this was a guy who basically was not a coder, had no idea how to code. And he basically said, look, I know AI knows how to code. I'm going to make it do this. I'm going to make it work, right? So it goes in, and he's like, I want to build this. I'm trying to do this. And this was before Replit and all this stuff was around, right? So he sat down, ChatGPT, basically had a long conversation. I'm trying to get to here. What do I need to do, right? And he went through, iterated. Hey, you gave me code, doesn't work, it broke. Goes back, gives it back to us like, hey, this isn't working. What do I need to change? What do I need to do, right? And he kept doing that over and over and over until he finally got the app to work. And now it was fully functioning. It's like, okay, cool. What do I do with this? It's like, I don't know how to put it in the App Store. Tell me what to do, right? So I told him what to do. If I tell you ChatGPT Riz, what do you think the app does? And you're gonna, what? Yeah. Okay. Okay. How do you think it works? There's no prompting. All right, so don't get scared. What it does is help guys talk to girls when they get stuck. Okay? And every girl I've talked to has said, be careful if you're actually talking to the guy. Because here's how it actually works. This is the interesting part. It uses Whisper from OpenAI. If you're very familiar with your AI tools, you should know what Whisper does. And so when a guy gets stuck in a conversation, he screenshots it, he sends it to the app looks at the screenshot, and then it tells him how to respond back, and then he responds back with that. And that app has now made him 7 figures. Who's mad? Who here is mad? Okay? So that was his first app he built, and in his second month when he launched, he made $80,000 in revenue. So that tells you what the dating industry really is like, right? So his second app that he went and launched was helping guys work out in gyms using AI. And so guys would take pictures of their bodies and say, like, this is what I look like right now. This is what I'm trying to look like. Give me a workout plan. Tell me what to do. And it will build out that entire thing. And that app also went on to make 7 figures. So he now has 6 apps that he's built with a team now that all do 6 to 7 figures each. And remember, he's not a coder. Any questions? So this is our future, by the way. If you have seen this video, I will be very shocked.
О чем, снимаем уже? Привет, from Russia. My name is Nikolai. I am the farmer from Ryazan County. Our farm produces milk, cheese, eggs, and many other types of products. It's a lie that we are a technically backward country. It's newest robots from Ijevsk Dynamics Corporation. Government gives you Android to help your business. Тихо, блин. They say that we have bedroom. This is bullshit. We don't need them. But we suffer from air turbulence. It was going for 2 years by Post of Russia. Вот ждешь потом, пока тебе... это самое, it's an alien ship. We took it apart for металлолом.
Полетели коптеры, полетели сизые по полю, по полюшку, ой, да по небу сызнова. Ой, железная ты птица, не понять тебе меня. Все летает над землицей, коптер, птица без гнезда. На земле сидел андроид, опустивший голову. Отчего тоскует робот от апгрейда нового. Ой, да ты какая система, как с тобой управиться. Тебе ничего не знаем. Только нам все нравится.
We expanding our farm, so we need new human workers all over the world. Friendly team, big ambitions. What? Communications, high responsibility. We have best conditions for our future workers. It is a high technological utilization system. We don't need выгребная яма anymore. All the stuff goes directly to the black hole. It's our Dayarka, Glasha. We have love, something like that.
Alright, I'm gonna stop it right there. So any comments on that? How old do you think that video is? That's pretty recent, right?
2013.
How old?
2013.
Anybody else wanna guess?
So that video is 4 years old. All right. So this was before AI. This person made one video, right? They made this one video, and it took off, and it caught a lot of people by surprise because they have no idea why this video was made. So it dropped on YouTube, and all of a sudden it got a lot of comments, it got a lot of attention, but it still looks like it was made today, right? So it looks very recent. But I mentioned that just because like robots is coming in our life, right? Like if you've ever seen what BMW just did with their orders of like thousands of robots for their warehouses, it's coming, right? Like it is a real thing. And people think AI is the threat. It's not. It's the robots, right? It's going to be where you go home and all of a sudden dinner's made, your laundry is folded, it's put away, the dog's been walked, you know, all that stuff. Your yard's been cut, things like that, you know. So here's a recap of all the stuff that I've sort of like learned teaching this program. And it's going to be pretty interesting because this is all the stuff that y'all have taught me from teaching this stuff, right? This is all the feedback I've gotten. So one of the things I've learned is AI has really disrupted the gig work, right? Freelance work, things like that. For those who have been able to combat it, what I've learned is they're going in and building wrappers. They're going in and building the anti-startup system, right? They're trying to figure out like, how do I survive when my job was to make art, when now AI does that? If you're a graphics designer, how do you deal with a client that says, hey, I don't need to hire you anymore, I have AI, right? And that's the bigger problem that I've seen with people is coders, consultants, a lot of the stuff, they're running into this common situation of, but can't I just have AI tell me, right? So the jobs for a lot of them are drying up. And I know this also because when you go into Reddit, when you go into a lot of these Facebook groups, and you look at all these threads, and you look at all the comments for these videos of what AI is doing, there are so many people out there that says, hey, I lost my job to AI already. It's a real problem, right? I was a 20-year developer. I was doing this, and out of nowhere, my job was cut, right? It was gone. And it's hard, right? Like Austin is one of the hardest hit for tech jobs in Texas. And from what I look at the numbers, they just keep getting worse, right? Like right now, Austin sits at like around like 45,000 unemployed tech workers. That's a high number, right? And when you have companies going in and trying to meet budgets, December is the month where they trim the most, right? So I've had a lot of meetings with people, and I've drank a lot of chai, which is my favorite. But they want answers, but they're not looking to pay for anything, right? They're trying to figure out, like, what do I need to do? And I'll just go ask AI to fix it, right? So if our world is turning into, I'm going to go ask AI to fix everything, then what do jobs turn into, right? Before it was, I'll go watch a YouTube and learn it. Now it's, I'm sure there's an AI tool for that. And I hear that a lot, especially from other people who are, hey, you know, I don't know how to do this. Just tell me what AI tool to use and I'll go do that, right? That's where Replit comes in. And if you think Replit is the problem, it's much worse for what's coming in 6 months, a year from now, because you have these teams that go out there like Y Combinator, say find something and fix it, right? So who here spends their time on Product Hunt? Product Hunt? Yeah. I go to Product Hunt because it tells me what the trends are, right? It tells me where things are headed, right? Because these are all young people building things at a university environment, or they're at Y Combinator or something bigger around the world, and they know if they want to get traction, where do they put it? On Product Hunt, right? And that tells me this is what the latest tool is, right? So if I know what's coming, then what industry is going to get disrupted the most, right? And feel free to comment, ask questions as I'm going through this. And I've also learned a lot of people are very clueless about the steps they need to take to run their side gigs, their small businesses, and they wish they just had somebody to tell them, what do I need to do, right? They just would like that one piece of advice on like, hey, my day is starting off, what should I do? And the other thing I've learned also is that people believe money will just fix their problems, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I've met founders that are just like, I'm in funding mode. I have no idea what that means, right? I don't know what that means. And in their mind, that's going to fix my problem, right? When in fact, it's probably their workflow, their habits, you know? And a lot of younger people just want somebody to tell them what to do day by day, right? And if you think I'm joking,
No, you're not.
it is very real. All right, the jobs for the STEM industry, I'm sorry to say this, but they're just decimated. They are just decimated, right? Many people, if you go onto YouTube or if you go onto TikTok and you look at these software developers and they sit there and they talk about, I've worked for this company for 20 years, for 30 years, I did this, and all of a sudden I was in the letting go phase, right? I had no notice. I thought I was doing great, gone, right? More people sign up for this program than my digital nomad program. And the reason why is they don't want to get out of their comfort zone, right? They don't want to leave I go home, start my dinner routine, bedtime is at 9:30, I watch Friends at 10, I'm asleep by 11, right? And what do they tell you in Silicon Valley? The best place to be is what? In discomfort. When you're seeking discomfort, what happens? Change happens all the time, right? So this is a big one. Networking scams are a real thing, and I have dealt with this a lot. If you know me, you know I network a lot, right? Like, people say you see me everywhere, I'm everywhere. So here's what I mean by this. So during South by, I kept running into this problem. People would always say, I love what you do, we need to have a meeting. Let's talk, right? So we would schedule a Zoom call, and as we're talking, I would notice that the person talking to me was like, hey, there's a friend of mine, I need you to meet. I think you two would hit it off, you'll have the exact, she needs what you do, right? And you networked to do business, that's the point, right? And I found out this person was in every Zoom call. And I was like, why are you still here if I'm supposed to do business with this person? Well, it turns out the scam was that person was a recruiter for that person to bring them to. And what they would do is they would do a bait and switch hook and tell me if you've run into this problem, because I know you have. And they said, look, I like what you do. I understand what's happening. Here's what I do. And I think we can help each other. If we work together, then I can offer my services to you, and you can offer your services to me, and we can both benefit. What do you think happened? They wanted free services. And I noticed more and more people were doing that. And that person was a recruiter for that person to go to events and bring them so they can get free services. And they would do that over and over and over. Because it was very interesting in the conversation, and this has happened many times, right? So be careful when you network, because you don't know what you're going to run into. That's one of the many scams I've seen, right? And it turns into a situation where, like, what was the point of that, right? So following up, it got very tense, because it was like, what is going on here? Because I thought you needed this. Oh, well, they do, right? But it wasn't me talking to the person. It was this intermediary who kept interjecting everything. It was like they were their manager or something, you know? Private events are where the bigger opportunities are. There's a lot of events that go on, but it's the hidden parties, it's the private events. That's where the bigger deals happen, right? So to give you a story about this, I would meet developers 10 years ago here in Austin, right? And they would fly out to Silicon Valley, and they would go pick up jobs. And this was a time before AI. This was a time before coding was like easy. And they would build apps, they would build websites. And they would go to these big, huge private events in Silicon Valley with people that had deep pockets. And they would go into these rooms, and they would mingle, they would have food, drinks, and they're looking for that one person who wants to build an app, right? It's like, I have an app idea, I just need somebody to build it. And I can't tell you how many times these rich people wanted a custom-made app just for them, right? So the developers would go in and say, if you can write this number on a check, I can have an MVP to you in 3 months, right? And they would come back with 6, 7 jobs, all 6 figures. And that was 10 years ago. So imagine what the market is today for that. This is very interesting. Getting older people to understand the importance of posting on social media is like talking to a brick wall. It is so hard. I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with older people that tell me, why do I need to post dancing videos on TikTok? That's not what I do. It drives me up the wall, right? There is a single mom that I saw. For those who have TikTok, you can pull your phone out right now and look up Angela Automates Everything. This was a single mom who needed money to pay for her kids' school, her health care, all this stuff. She lost her job and said, I'm going to learn how this automation thing works. I'm going to go in and start figuring out, how does Notion work? How does Make work? How does Zapier work? And I'm going to master this stuff. And she went in and she started teaching all these automation workflows on TikTok. And within a year, she was making 6 figures as a single mom. And now she has dropped a course, because why not? She has dropped a book, because why not? And she has a website that's automated. So every time somebody signs up, there's an automation, follows up with them, sends them the course information, the book, all that stuff. College students are very flaky. I just had one of the worst experiences with college students, and I can't tell you how frustrating it is. Because there was this huge conversation we had about, hey, they want me to come speak at their program, we're going to do this, and I follow up, right? Because that's what I do. I follow up, no response, right? So I go in and I say, hey, look, I never heard back from you. What's going on? You told me you wanted me to come out. We need to schedule this stuff. Come on in. And so after that, they said, I'm not interested anymore. Don't contact me. Right? Remember, we had an entire conversation with not only the students, but also the person who runs the program. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. And it's been happening more and more, right? So the other thing I've learned is a lot of people work on passion projects first instead of businesses that make money first. And it is very true. Because I have seen people come in, they want to start this passion project because they saw a commercial, and they're like, I can do that. And what do you think the next thing they tell me is? I'm here because I'm looking for investors. Well, get in line. People really do not understand the importance of networking events and conferences over small personal things. I can't tell you how many times I have talked to people and said, hey, by the way, there's an event coming up. You need to be at this because the people you're trying to meet are going to be there. Oh, I can't make it. I got to go do this. What is it you're going to do? I got to go grocery shopping. What?
Yeah.
What?
He's done this to me a zillion times.
Yeah, see?
Okay. Just telling you.
And people do not realize how easy it is to speak at conferences and trade shows. Who here has spoken at a conference or a trade show? Right. Was it hard? What was the process like? Did you just...
Well, I did it through one of those like membership community.
Okay.
So that's
Right. And so a lot of people think I need to have a PhD, I need to have research, I need to be from a major university, I need to have funding from a company. It really is, you email the organizers and say, are you looking for speakers? Right? And I can't tell you how many times I've met people whose speaking careers take off just by doing that. Right? This is a big one. This is literally what I deal with, right? This is what I help people with. They don't understand how to leverage their time correctly by hiring assistants. Who was the one that raised their hands with remote workers? You. Why does it change your life? Do you care to share anything? Exactly, right? I cannot tell you how many times I've met Americans who do not even have one personal assistant and how much it changed your life, right? If you have one personal assistant that manages your calendar, manages your dates, manages your lead generation, all that stuff, imagine how much work you can get done, right? Who here thinks you cannot afford a personal assistant? Raise your hand. Why? Why is that? Anybody want to give feedback? Do you want to?
I said it's expensive.
Do y'all want to answer that, or should I answer that? Oh yeah,
There's levels to it. There's levels to it. Like if you have like a specific task, like the calendar stuff, you could probably get somebody like that, $7 an hour, $6 an hour, 5-10 hours a week, and
Yep.
not even that. Like
Yeah.
maybe get some 3 or 4 hours. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's one thing. So you can build up from there, or you can work with like I work with an agency that gets me people from South America because I speak Spanish, so it's like easy for me.
Yep.
And then I got a phenomenal video editor for freaking $15 an hour, something that would charge it like $50 an hour.
That's right, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the options are there.
My first virtual assistant was $2 an hour. She was from Norway, and the reason why was because she was already a coder, she was a developer, she was a WordPress expert, she had all these amazing skills, so why was she $2 an hour? No, I just said the Norway. Nope. The reason why was because she had never been a virtual assistant before, and she needed to price herself competitively to get a job to put on her resume. Because she wanted to get into that space so she could do executive assistant work. That's why. A number of people are so focused, and I have met so many people like this, that are trying to find the perfect business to start that they end up not doing anything at all. And because of that, they waste a lot of time, because what is the one thing that Noah Keegan says? It's more important to build than to try and be perfect. Just build something. The whole point is to build those skills and build something. You know, because you've been building since you were a kid. And you have so many skills built up that when you're ready to start another project, you have the skill set right there. Just putting on an event, just for me alone, and even for Sharon here, because she puts on events as well. And in fact, she does marketing automation. That's her event tomorrow. That's right. My network alone has grown 20x, okay? By actively engaging the community, I know so many more people. When you put yourself in front of other people, it changes your network tremendously. I've shown a lot of AI tools to people that speed up your process, and many of them have already used them to make a lot of money with, right? Because that's what it's for, right? And I just had this happen. So somebody was talking to me at a special event, and they told me that whenever they run into a problem at work, they always ask themselves now, what would Chris say? And after that, they asked for a picture together. So it was very interesting because they looked at this event as why their company has now grown so much. So I want to know if you know who this company is. Selling water is now a $1.4 billion industry. Why? Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I use this all the time now when people tell me they cannot get clients, they cannot make money, they cannot do this. And I said, how long has water been around? It's a trick question, right? All he did was package water and sell it. And that was it, right? So he built a lifestyle around something that has been around forever. And he made billions of dollars doing that. So if you're telling me that you cannot be a millionaire with AI, yeah, there's a problem with marketing. It's marketing. Networking events are about doing business with one another. It's not about high school, right? It's not about drama. It's not about all this stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I have gone to networking events and it gets turned into high school drama. And it is ridiculous. There are teenagers now with millions of subscribers. In fact, do you know what just started on Sunday, 4 December? Wow, that is not good. If you are familiar with social media, you know that every 1st of December, Vlogmas starts. And that is every day you post a Vlogmas video on social media. And that is how you get your numbers up. So, going back to this, there are teenagers with millions of subscribers on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram who make way more money than people with graduate degrees and PhDs. So I bring that up because Carter Scherer, who knows that guy? All right, you're going to hate this story. Here's why. He was in graduate school to go and study physics, right? He had such amazing grades. He was a smart student, did all this amazing stuff. His professors loved him, got all these scholarships, and his professors were just like, look, we're going to get you a lab. We have some great research for you to start working on. And he turns to his professor advisor and says, I'm going to be a YouTuber now. And the guy was just like, wait, what do you mean you want to be a YouTuber? He's like, yeah, I think I want to make videos now. I think I want to go out there and just start doing fun stuff. And so the reason why he did that was because he had taken his knowledge of physics and he applied it to the YouTube algorithm. And he found that based on the design of your thumbnail, that is how you get the clicks. So if you look up Carter Scherer on your phone or your laptop, and you look at the design of his thumbnails and his YouTube channel, you will see why you are so inclined to click his videos. Because they are aesthetically designed to get you to click his videos. And he knows that. And this was way before Mr. Beast was a thing. So if you look at his channel, he has like 10 million subscribers. And it is huge. And he owns like 4 mansions, and he has gone back to his professor, and I don't know if this is true or not, is like, let me buy you a mansion, because you need one. So, yeah. I know you're looking at his stuff. So, tell me your opinions. Let's hear them. Share them, because I know people want to hear it. Does it look like I need to watch this guy? Yeah, exactly. See? Exactly. He understood the power of design. He understood the power of color, of aesthetics, all of this stuff. And he applied it right to his videos design, to his banner design, to his layout, to everything. And his numbers for everything exploded. And this guy owns so many expensive sports cars, mansions, all kinds of stuff. So, was it a good idea that he dropped out? So the next part is YouTube and Instagram and TikTok are global distribution channels that are massive, and many people just do not understand that. And it is free to post, right? I can't tell you how many times this past week I have met a company that says, I'm trying to get my name out there. I need to buy a lot of Google ads. I'm like, why? Go post on YouTube and tell people about your channel. And they look at me like I'm from Mars, right? There was this guy that was starting in San Antonio, and he was a singer, right? And this was somebody who was just like, look, I want to be famous. I want to get my name out there. So I'm going to take my YouTube channel, and I'm going to go to the mall, and I'm going to pass out flyers to every single person I walk by. And he would go to the mall, go to the food court, and walked up to every person and handed out flyers and said, go follow my channel, go like my videos, go do all this stuff, right? And he was just passing things out until somebody told him he needs to leave. And he would do this for every single mall, every weekend, right? And what do you think happened? He exploded. So it just took off because he was just so dead set on focusing on social media. He would make it a religion to where he knew every week he had to be on live stream, he had to be posting videos, and he made it his job. And when he started, how old was he? Take a guess. Wait, say that again? 16? She said 20? Do I hear 15? Do I hear 13? Do I hear 14? He was 14 years old when he started. So this guy turned into a huge movie singer, became friends with a lot of famous people, and now he lives in Miami, right? So the few people who have taken my event and applied what I've taught, they have seen so much happen in their work, right? They have been able to create MVPs in such little time that it has surprised even them, right? For those who use a lot of AI tools, you notice your productivity has increased tremendously, but it's also increased your backload of like other things you want to work on. So who knows this chart right here? And where do you think you sit? Everybody here is probably at early adopters. If you're here in this room, or you know Capital Factory, you're probably still in the early adopters, right? Because that's the part right there where it goes from 0 to like 2 to 3 years, and then the early majority, that's usually around like, 2 to 4 years, and then laggards are usually around like 9 to 10 years later. They finally decide, okay, I'll check out this YouTube thing. And I bring this up because who knows about the chasm? If you've ever read The Innovator's Dilemma, which was written back in the 90s by a very famous Harvard professor, he talked about that part, right? Because your point as an entrepreneur is you're trying to fix that part of adopters, right? Because the chasm is what is either going to kill your business or it's going to change your business, right? So this is why every time you come up with something, you have to figure out where do you fit in this. Is somebody going to adopt it right away? Are they going to try it? Or are they going to be skeptical of it? Like, how many people do you know who still do not use TikTok, right? How many of you know who still do not use AI, right? So here's why everybody needs help. Everybody's smiling because they know it's true. You tell a 12-year-old what to do and they will literally roast you. And now today, you talk to a 25-year-old, please tell me exactly what I need to be working on today. And make sure you give me pictures too. So, for what it's worth, don't worry about starting your first company, just build. Give yourself the 48-hour challenge. Who here has read this book? Yep, she knows it. Who here has read the book? Nobody. All right, you need to read this book. So this book right here, this guy lives here in Austin, and he basically says, look, I've made 1 million different companies every weekend, and I've quit a lot of these companies as well. And the reason why he did that was because he wanted to challenge himself on just building something. And he got so good at building companies that it was just routine for him, and that was it. And so if you've ever seen his videos, he goes out now, and he's the guy that asks questions. So here's a challenge for you. The next time you're about to buy a cup of coffee, ask for 10% off and see what happens. Just watch what happens. Right? If they say no, guess what? It's still the same price. But if he's like, okay, good, I'll give you 10% off, you got 10% off. Just ask. Right? So he got really good at asking people for things. And there was one video he made where he stood by an airport entrance for private jet owners. And these people would come by and they would be like, what are you doing here? Hey, can I get a ride with you on your private jet? Everybody's laughing. How many of those no's did he get? A lot, right? But why do you think he made the video? Because you know he got one yes. Otherwise there would be no video, right? So then that one video made him millions of views because he got onto a jet and the guy basically told him, okay, you can come with me, but you got to figure out how to get back. Okay? And he did an entire interview with the guy. And it was one of the most influential interviews he's ever done because the comments alone showed this guy understood the importance of time versus being in a car. He says, I used to deliver Domino's pizza. I used to do this. I used to do this. I used to do this until I sat my ass down and I learned how to do stock trading and make real money. And the first thing I told myself was, I'm going to buy a private jet because that saves me time. So the next one right there is read the 4 agreements. If you've never read that book, go read that book. Okay? It will teach you to keep your word and respect people, right? Always follow up with people on LinkedIn, no matter what, right? If you're not interested in keeping communication with them, don't ghost them. There's a lot of times where I have to go in and clean up my LinkedIn because I'll message people and nobody responds. So why is that a connection, So the next one is advanced AI, robotics, quantum computing are coming, whether you like it or not, so you better have a plan in place. If you've never read The Coming Wave by Mustafa Suleyman, read that book. Mustafa Suleyman, read that book because that book tells you in the next 3 to 5 years all the technology that's coming that is going to be so disruptive, you better have a plan in place, right? Don't be flaky. Just be honest with people and keep your word. It's so simple, right? Just keep your word. And this is something I've learned as well. There are 2 types of people using AI right now. And that is those who are going back to school to learn how to build AI and those who are making money with AI. So what side do you want to be on, right? You don't need to be a computer scientist to know how the model works. You just need to know it made me $1,000 today. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. So the other one right here, just like I talked about, is content creation is a real job, and you just got to start including it in your life. If a single mom or dad can make $20K a month on YouTube, so can you. There was a guy who, he was struggling for work, so he's like, I'm going to try this YouTube thing during the pandemic. He sat his butt down and says, I'm going to just start telling people jobs you can do from home. And after the pandemic was over, he was making $20K a month just putting out videos, telling people how to make money from home. And that was it. You need assistants in your life, period. It sounds funny to those who have them, but those who don't, it changes your life. So, this is what I learned at South by. Who went to South by this year? Awesome. Hopefully some of these match up with what you've learned. And if they don't, please share with me what you've learned. It's better to host an event at South by than to attend. Agreed? Yep. You can launch an entire career or company at South by on just press and followers alone. The people you meet will be lost connections in 3 months. True or false? Yeah. Right, because a lot of these people will come in from around the world, right? So it is hard sometimes to keep up because sometimes things happen, right? They go to more conferences, so those connections start to become harder to maintain. If you do not follow up with these people that you had great conversations with, nothing will come of it after 2 months. South by is all about name and brand recognition and increasing your follower count, and that's it. South by is a hustler's game. If you've never done South by before, then you're not taking advantage of the global opportunities in Austin. And if you're trying to grow a business, then you might as well work a 9 to 5 if you're not going to be at South by. There was a guy who did this very interesting marketing thing. And if you want to look this up, go watch the video. So there was this guy that posted this sign that says, if you see this man, please contact this number. This man is lost, right? And it had a picture of Nicolas Cage on it. Yes, yes. And it had at the bottom the phone number, right? And he put this everywhere in Austin. You went to the convention center, there was all these pictures. You went to campus, you went to the malls, you went to the stores, everywhere. What do you think happened? Don't say anything for those who know the story. What do you think happened? Nicolas Cage took one of those little phone numbers off the flyer, called the number and said, hey, I'm not lost, I'm right here. If you want to meet me, I'll have a beer with you at this bar. And he did. And that guy wanted to meet Nicolas Cage so bad. Why? Because Nicolas Cage makes movies like We Change Clothes. Okay? He always has a movie coming out at South by every year. So he wanted to meet him, and they met at a bar, and a news station caught wind of this, and they went, interviewed him, and they had a whole conversation. That's marketing. That's how you get things done at South by. South by is networking on steroids. It is a 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. game played for 5 days straight. If you are not able to do that, you are not playing the game. It is rough. So you wake up, you go have food, you network, and you go right to your first event. And then after that, once the day is done, you go to the networking events at night, the parties, all that stuff, the hidden events, and by the time you get to your hotel room, it's usually 1 a.m. And if you don't know where to find the hidden parties and special events, then yes, you are still new to South by. Any questions, comments? I'd love to hear feedback for those who've already done it. Was it hard? Was it exhausting? Or were you like, I was only there for a day? Yes, go ahead.
I'm performing at it.
Good.
And do you know, do you still get access to everything? Do I need to go buy a...
So are you part of the official South by? You are. Okay, and you've talked to the official South by crew that you will be on their list or schedule? Okay, I would talk to your organizer and see if you get a badge.
Typically, I've gone under the music badge before with some artists.
Uh-huh.
And typically, every single person that's official, like you have to register through the official program. So just so you know that the people that are setting it up for you or whatever, they should be sending you a link. Okay. To register, but your name has to be there, have a profile, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And it takes a while, so you know.
Yeah.
It's not like 1, 2, 3.
Okay, great, thank you.
So I got an insider.
Sure.
5 years ago,
Okay.
I set up all of the instrumentation in Google Tag Manager to track all of their analytics.
Wow, okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
We did all the work for wristbands.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
But follow everybody. As soon as you start seeing people, follow every one of their social media accounts.
Uh-huh.
And anybody who's an official with South by, follow them like crazy on Instagram because they will help you like crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do not be afraid to reach out to them. And now, this year, you need to be on Blue Sky. You need to be on
Yep.
all of the other alternative.
Oh yeah, I know.
events.
Yep.
But the amount of interaction that was taking place online, everything
Right.
was raising everything online. But the amount of data that they collect
Mhm.
is immense. To get on their mailing list as soon as possible, get on
Yeah, yeah.
follow everybody who's associated with it.
Right.
Will get you into a lot of these private events.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Private events are all going to be, you're going to be invited by all of the offline.
Yeah.
But don't assume anything. No one opens the door for free.
I actually went to an event recently where there were two people there that worked for a different company. They were running conferences. And I said, hey, so what were you doing before this? And they said, well, we used to work at South by. And I said, what do you mean, what did you do at South by? He's like, well, we were the people that vetted all the speakers and set up all the conferences. And I said, so you were the top dog? He's like, well, I was second to top. And I said, so how did you get that job? And he's like, it's funny enough, back in 91, he said, or 93, South by was just sort of getting started. And they called him up because he was unemployed at home. And he's like, hey, we need help this afternoon. Would you like to come work for us real quick? He's like, yeah, why not? I got nothing to do. And it turned into a major career. And now every conference that's anything in the world seeks out his advice. And he just happened to be at this event that I was at. So we connected on LinkedIn. He's like, yeah, if you ever want to know how to get into a big conference, just message me. I'll get you in.
I forgot. Well, before I moved here,
Uh-huh.
3 months, we're talking 2016, I said, I got to figure out how I'm going to volunteer at South by Southwest.
Right.
I went on. That is, I highly recommend that too, because I volunteered in 2017 for South by. And I made sure I networked, met everyone. Gary Vee and I were taking selfies.
Yeah.
Moved my way through the crowd, but you have to put in a lot of time as a volunteer. But you meet a lot of people.
That's right.
You have to make sure, and then you don't pay for anything.
Yeah, I know. I've never paid for South by in my life.
Well, how do you get in?
That's a secret.
Volunteer.
So, yeah. So, I mean, like, for those who want to volunteer, again, you go do your 40 hours, you get the platinum badge, you can get into anything, right? But for those who are still new to South by, go try it out. It will be a wear and tear on your body if you're trying to do it for the full 5 days. I just looked at the schedule recently to see what else they've been updating, and they've added more days for tech. They've added more days for AI, all that stuff. So it is a grind. It is a major grind. And I'm going to tell you right now, even though we are just started December, South by will be here before you know it. Okay? And once you need to figure out your game plan if you're going to be here. Because once South by hits, it is go, go, go all day long. And if you're not in the right places at the right time, you're going to miss those opportunities, right? And that's what you're trying to do. It's like you're trying to boost your audience.
I have a
So,
question about this before we move on. So, last year I went to all these peripheral parties.
uh-huh.
Is that a good thing? Like Capital Factory hosts its own thing too.
Yes, they do, yeah.
I mean, I was at that, I was at the Mexican tech thing, you know, I just met all these people. If you don't go to South by itself, is it okay to go to all the parties and the other events that
So,
support it? Like
yes,
Capital
yeah. You want to do this Capital Factory stuff as well because they have a partnership with South by. But it's also the evening stuff is where everybody who's tired of speaking at their events, they want to go have a drink, they want to go party, they want to go relax. So you're going to meet the speakers in these parties. You're going to meet them at these events. And as long as you're not weird, you have a conversation. Like, hey, I loved what you talked about. I want to know, can we have coffee the next time you're in town? Let's connect, right? And that's how you do it. That's why people ask me, like, why don't I ever buy a badge? I'm like, unless I'm going to network with the people in the room, I'm probably going to see them later, right? Unless that person has something of value in that stage, I'm going to see it on YouTube in 2 months. All the talks that were last in March, they've been on YouTube since June, right? So again, it's all there. And they do that because, one, it builds their audience, it builds their numbers, and it gives them more revenue from YouTube. So, I always do a South by event in February where I teach people how to launch a company or a startup during South by. And that one tends to have a huge crowd because they come in and they learn what strategies to take, what they need to be doing, how they need to get their marketing ready. So by the time South by comes around, they hit the ground running and they know what to do. And many of them went in. I knew one person that was able to get 1,000 followers during South by. And that was pretty good, you know? So yes, South by is nothing to laugh at. It is a very serious global conference, and a ton of people show up here. So with that said, I'm going to talk to you about the greatest agency you didn't know about. And then we're going to close it out. Because I always got to leave you with something. Yes?
Can you give you have to close, but like a few teasers on like the startup game plan for launching a South by? What are some of the things that you talk about?
I mean, like guerrilla marketing tactics. So like if you're going to come in, you need to either have a game plan of like, what is my marketing going to be like during South by? Like, where do I need to be? Where's the crowds? How am I going to promote myself, right? Like a lot of startups have no money. So if you have no money, what do you think you should be doing if a crowd of people is going to be at Rainy Street at night? Any ideas? Be there, but doing what?
With a QR code.
There you go.
Incentive.
Right, and an incentive, exactly. If somebody's drunk and you want them as a subscriber, what do you need to do? Put your phone in front of them. Here's a $5 gift card to whatever food you want to get. You know, follow me, right? Like, hey, I'm going to have this event coming up. Tell your friends. If you do this and you get other people to follow me, I'll give you a gift card for $5, right? Like, whatever incentive you can find. Going to Rainy Street during South by alone can get you a lot of followers and a lot of attention. I cannot tell you, even right now as we speak, there is a lot of local people in Austin that are on Rainy Street. They go, they set up a table, and they make $200 a night. I saw one guy that does magician tricks, and he sets up a table. He averages $300 a night just doing that, right? So that's marketing. So this one right here, hopefully that gives you an idea. But if you want to know more, come out to February. It's a lot of fun. So this one right here was started by 5 guys who got fired from the top agency in Hollywood. And if you know who I'm talking about, I'll be very surprised, because I know this world very well. They started their agency in 1975. What was not around in 1975?
The web.
The web. What else?
Cell phones.
Cell phones?
AI.
Okay. So I don't want to hear any complaining that I cannot get my business off the ground. So we're going to keep going. They were considered outcasts, and they were told they would never make it, and that they would disappear within 1 year of starting this. In fact, they were forced out because somebody ratted them out, and they were actually planning to start their business a year later. Each one barely had any money, and some had to take loans out to support themselves and their families. That's how poor they were. And to give you perspective, they were making $120 a week at the time, which was kind of a lot of money in 1975. So within a year, they had doubled their salaries and had close to 50 clients. Who here has 50 clients in their agency? Remember, this is 1975. Let's keep going. So within 5 years, they had signed over 200 of the biggest names in Hollywood and were making on average $90 million in revenue a year. Remember, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. There was no AI to help them. I know, right? The world sounds so terrible then. And they are the reason why the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s had some of the best movies and TV shows we will ever see. And this is why today, majority of those movies and TV shows are now being remade. Any idea who they were? Exactly.
I worked in
Well, I was a kid actor, and then I was a kid actor, and then I went into directing and producing and all that stuff. Yeah. So, this is CAA. If you want to understand how to run an agency, read this book. It looks intimidating. It is not. It will tell you how to do deals. It will tell you how to get clients. And it will show you how to do all of this stuff without the internet. Okay? They made deals like you would not believe, and they changed the way Hollywood operated. They had a vice grip on anything in Hollywood by the time they were done. And so at the very end of all of this stuff, in 2023, they sold a majority stake for $7 billion off of 5 guys that were fired from the top agency in 1975. So when you tell me that you cannot get 2 clients in your business using AI and the internet, something's wrong. So what do you need to know about this? You need a team, right? This is why I keep mentioning you need assistance, you need help, you need to build a team. These guys made a name for themselves by getting out there and talking to everyone and anyone that would have a phone call with them or a meeting with them. Remember, they had no money, but they were at a lunch and a dinner event every single day. They were never home at night. They were at a party, they were at a movie premiere, they were at a dinner event, they were, you name it, whatever, right? And they were always there in style. In fact, to get their name out there, they took out a loan, so every single one of them had a Jaguar. So when they showed up to every event, it had the name CAA on the back of their license plate. So when people saw them, they knew exactly who they were. They worked very hard for their clients. So here's what I'm going to ask you right now. It's something for you to think about. Imagine if you had somebody working for you that went out and got you jobs and made all the deals for you. How much your life would change, right? That's what agents do. So here's a story that's going to change your life. There was a young writer who, she went to school and learned creative writing. Remember, this was 1976 or 77. And she wrote a script, and she had just discovered this agency because she was about to sign with another agency that said, hey, we can probably get your script into a studio, but we're not sure. At the time, a script would sell for between maybe $20,000 and $35,000. Is that a lot of money in 1976? Yes, it is. So when she signed with CAA, they asked her, hey, what are you working on right now? And she said, well, I just wrote this play, the script for a movie, and I don't know if it's any good. Give it to us, let us look at it, we'll have somebody work on it, and we'll call you on Monday. Imagine having 5 people working for you that hard. So what do you think happened Monday morning when they called her? This is the power of why you should have a team. I'm very curious. Give me some response. What do you think they had for her? A deal. What kind of deal? Yes. Those 5 guys, this is why they made their money. They learned how to package deals very well. So when they got a script, they found the actors for the script, they found the right studio for the script, they found the right director for the script, and they found the right producer for the script. So when they packaged everything and they sold it to the studio, they came back, they brought her into the room, and they said, hey, we got a deal for you. We just want to let you know this is the cut that the studio gave you, and they gave her a check for $300,000. What did not exist in 1976? I know that. But what is something we all take for granted now? Yes. So remember, she's a script writer. What do script writers use every day? Computers and Microsoft Word. Those did not exist in 1976. She used a typewriter to make $300,000 in a weekend. That's perspective. We have Microsoft Word that has spell check. If she made a mistake, what did she have to do? Right. They called every other business they could do business with. And the reason why they did that was because they hoped it would turn into something. And Michael Horvitz, who ran CAA, called up this literary agency and said, hey, look, I just read about you in the New York Times. I know we don't know each other, but I think we can do business together. Do you have anything for me? And he's like, I don't know you. I don't know what you do. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to call you every Thursday at 10 a.m. to see if you have anything for me. And he did that for several years. And so he called one time and said, hey, look, I just got this book from an author. Not sure if you can do anything with it, but I'm going to give it to you. I'll option it to you for a couple of $1,000, and let me know what happens. So he took that deal, went to the studios, packaged it, came back, and I think he wrote a check for over $100,000 on just the book alone. And ever since then, that literary agent said, we're going to do business together every day. So why do I mention this? Because if you want to grow your business, you need to get your name out there. You need to talk to people, you need to connect with people, and you have no idea where those relationships are going to go, but you've got to nurture them. Because nobody cares what you do, and online ads only get you so far. And if they did it without the internet or AI, yeah. Oops, sorry. Alrighty. So anyways, these are my affiliate links. We are now closing up. So I will let you know SiteGround right now has 80% off web hosting. If you need to build a website, if you need to get yourself out there, that is my affiliate link. So it averages about $4 a month. If you are paying more than $4 a month for hosting, that is a lot of money.
And they're really good.
Yes.
Great customer service. I mean, I have a link too, and I use it. I'm a web developer.
Yeah.
I know I can get them on the phone.
Yep. So the next one is Make. For those who want to get into automation, that is my affiliate link. So now we'll give you 1 free month of the Pro plan. Thanks for coming, Riley, by the way. Yep. Have a good Christmas. And if you have more questions, that is my Calendly link. And these are a couple of questions that I help you with if you want to book a time with me. And my book recommendations I have are, please read this book if you really want to understand how to build an agency and relationships. The other one, obviously, is Noah Keegan's $1 Million Weekend. Please read that. That will teach you how to be very efficient at building companies. Don't worry about making them successful. Just get used to building a company. And grab a cup of tea, sit down, and enjoy the read. I guarantee you will learn a lot of Hollywood history in that book. A fun fact, oh yeah, this is feedback. If you could please give me feedback, I would love that. That would help me improve. Paul Newman hated reading scripts, okay? And his wife would read all his scripts for him because he hated reading scripts. And so he told his agent, look, if a studio wants me to read a script, they need to pay me $1 million to read the script because it better be damn good. So anytime he would read a script, he got paid $1 million based on his contract. So I'll let y'all fill that out real quick. And so with that said, Merry Christmas, and let's keep in touch. And I thank you so much for attending. This is my LinkedIn if you would like to connect. And I greatly appreciate your time.
And if you do want to talk, I know we have to be out of this room. It's already past 8. But I will
Go
be.
downstairs.
Yeah. So we'll be downstairs by the couches if you want to talk some more. Oh, is that still going on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Julian's
It's
event is
till
still going
9 o'clock.
on. Oh, that's
That's
right.
why.
That's right. Yeah, the stand-up comedy is still going on.
Is that on the first
That's on the
floor?
first floor, yeah. So, yeah. You know, like a startup stand-up.
Library already?
That's right, that's right.
Dude, because when it first came out, I was trying to order it. And now it's at the library. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they don't like them, but they have him. All right. So, okay, let me think about those, and I'll have an answer. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you came. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Well, I signed up for it this morning.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Isabella.
So, you wanna go to my meetup tomorrow night at 6:30 downstairs, marketing, automation,
Yeah, South by
and
Southwest.
we'll learn how to do a virtual summit
Oh, yeah.
with media. My friend, well,
So I will have a
my
class
collaborator,
here. Yeah, it's
he
gonna be
put
a
on
class.
a virtual summit, we
Basically,
got
crash
900
course on how to launch during
so
Southwest.
he's gonna show that, plus he
So
just
it'll be a
started a
lot of fun.
podcast, and he's doing a live
I
series
packed a lot of
about it.
information.
So,
Sometimes
it's tomorrow night,
and it's the
6:30
first time
in
they
Debbie,
started,
which is right
and they're like,
behind
I need to get to
Volta.
1,000 users, or
Yeah,
I
it'll
need
be
to get
good.
this, or I'm trying to do
Yeah,
that.
I was wondering what, I just found out about it today. I was
My problem is, I'm so
Fernando
excited at the
Lavestito,
Okay.
he's gonna be speaking. He started the
1, 2,
meetup,
3, 4, 5.
but it
So-
became my meetup, so now he's
Like you
exiting
said, you have to
completely.
get.
Oh, okay.
I'm the one who grew it and got all the speakers, but I want him to be I wanted him to, I wanna feature him and get, you know, his whole, cause he's got a lot of new stuff going on. What is your name?
Oh, I'm Phil. Hi.
Phil, what's your last name?
Barnhart.
Barnhart?
Yeah.
Do I know you?
Nope. Not yet.
Well, I've just been around Capital Factory, Austin Tech Week, and Meta, and you name it, so I don't know if you ever met.
Well, it could have been, I came to Austin in '97, worked for Vignette.
I've only been here 7 years. So is it Barnhart?
Barnhart.
So I have the names and everything.
Fernando's been here forever. He went to
I'm so glad you came.
So he knows
So
a lot of
I know the name.
Yeah, Fernando Lavestito.
And have you been to South by before?
Yeah, so I'm the marketing technology manager.
No. So it's every March. It's every March. Yeah, so the second week of March.
Yeah, so I handle all the technology, all the tracking, we do all the database stuff. We build our entire.
I'm always impressed with all that. I mean,
Yeah, and
you should have, well, our,
Yeah, you come out, my events will be every fourth
you
Monday.
might know him through Russ Summers. Yeah, he was my speaker last month. He's created all his own customer services and developed his own marketing department.
we use,
Okay,
we
well,
use.
once I connect with you, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what, but he,
Well, it's good.
the whole point of the meetup is to show people how to,
So, are you looking
to implement this stuff
to,
with their
like,
business.
Well, you know, one of the things I
launch
do
at
is
South by,
predictive
or we can
revenue,
just, like,
predictive,
see what it's like?
LTV.
Okay.
So basically train a model on user behavior and use that as conversions in Google Ads and
No,
Facebook and
that's
stuff
great,
like that.
that's great. One of our speakers, he does all that too. One
So
of our-
your name again?
Sharon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be downstairs. Yeah, I'll be downstairs on the first floor. I just need to wrap up here and close it. So, but yeah, if you wanna talk some more, I'll be glad to talk to you. Okay.
Oh, there's Fernando.
Yeah.
He's got his podcast he just started. He wanted me on there.
It's like a speech competition.
Yeah, well, you should talk to him tomorrow night. He's going to town on all this.
I went to a bunch of it's actually pretty good. But I have another show.
There we go.
Are you sure it's the right one? Oh, yeah, because there's two of us on there. There's one who's a 28-year-old software engineer, who when I got involved with, social media, she's in high school. She's chasing me all the time. She's below me now. Her name is the exact same name. We both, she's from, I come from Chicago originally.
They
That's
can
where she's from.
sometimes,
Like,
there's a
who
lot
is
of
this?
people,
Is she
but
my husband
usually
or
it's only
something?
like 5 to 10 audience.
And she wouldn't become my friend.
Like workout material.
I know.
Yeah, I'm friends with a guy. So there was a
How does that mean? It's my doppelganger or whatever.
Not more relaxed because
there was
everybody's
a legislator in Oregon who's got the exact same name as I do. And Fox News was thinking of college. And I'm really left wing. So they were asking all these questions, like giving it to me, and they go, "Well, what are your constituents in Oregon think about all this?" I said, "Oregon, I'm a developer in Austin,
She's not
Texas."
coming up. I want to see. It's just me. She's walking. I don't try to be her friend. I don't care about her. Maybe all these people are trying to be her friend.
If you're interested in Friday, we're doing a show. I do yoga.
I don't know. I mean, she used to come up, Sharon Zero. She's got to be in Ireland somewhere. Oh, see all of them. Okay, here.
There we are. Oh, yeah. Is that her?
Yep. I mean, what are the chances? She lives in Elmhurst. What are the chances? Here's my doppelganger. Show him fast.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what happened? Oh, wow.
So I've been at social media since 2010. She was in high school. So I was connecting with her then. Was I good? And then she comes from Chicago. I do too. It was weird. So I tried to be her friend. She wouldn't connect with me. Then she graduated. Now it's 10 years later. She's a software engineer. So we're in. So I always make sure I'm the one. But you can tell my pictures. Let me walk out.
Okay, yeah.
Phil, did we connect?
Yes, I
Let's
connected.
go to the meetup tomorrow night. Fernando is just going to town now.
I'm going to try.
Well, no,
My friends are going to go, why do you keep going? I'm making my coworkers nervous by coming in here all the time.
So Chris, here, let's go downstairs.
Okay, yeah, let's go talk.
They might have some back.
Oh, man. All right, let's go find out.
You know how like that.
This was amazing. You're a regular firehead.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
He is the best. He pushes me. He pushes his other friends, and he pushes us to do the best that we can do. Like he said, he does it right at the time.